So hello everybody. Welcome to my show, Milagros Richards, Step into Change. This is like part 3 this weekend. I am very excited. I have been interviewing some of the collaborators of a book that is coming up pretty soon. And yesterday I had the great opportunity of talking to Miss Michelle Bolden. And she is the mastermind behind all of these beautiful minds and beautiful people that I have been talking to this weekend, and people that I have collaborated with in a brand new book that is coming out pretty soon, actually. And the online release of the book is December 1st, and you can register on Eventbrite. So I will have all of the information on the video and the later on, so you will be able to go in and register. And then the book release is on December 7th. So the name of the book is actually an anthology. So it's 13 beautiful people that I have met online and in person. So the book's name is Silhouettes of Strategies from Authentic Coaches for Mind, Body, and Soul. And I have two beautiful ladies here with me today. And the first one is Sheila Gibson. And then I also have Bernadette Browner. I hope I said those names right, because I'm famous for butchering names. So thank you, ladies, for being here with me today in my show. This is wonderful. I am actually using nature as my background because it is a beautiful day, and I decided to just record outdoors and listen and hear to everything. Hopefully we'll see a buck today behind me, because I saw that yesterday and I was like, oh, okay. So that was quite interesting. So I'm going to start with Bernadette Browner. I know this is a collaboration, but I am very excited to know about you, and also you have another collaboration or two, I think, and then you are a published author. So you have written your books on your own. So can you talk to us a little bit about you?
Yes, good evening, everyone. Again, I would like to thank you, Millie, for the opportunity to be on your show. It's a great honor to be here and to share with you and others. I am Bernadette Browner, a personal development and financial coach under BB Coaching and Consulting. And what I do is I shift the mindsets of individuals to become debt and financially free. And a lot of times we don't want to talk about money, but it's good to talk about money because money is good, right? So I help individuals get their budgets and finances together and any other personal development area they would like to improve upon. I am also a single mom of a young 24-year-old who is also an entrepreneur. She has her own beauty and bar shop. And she is a graduate from University of Maryland, Eastern Shore, 2018. And I'm a published author. My first book I would like to share with you is called Strength. Can you see that? Encouragement, hope, encouragement, and empowerment. And it's a prayer devotional. It's a 28-day prayer devotional with a 3-day fast that helps people, that help individuals grow closer to Christ. And if anyone that it already has a relationship with Christ, it actually allows you to go deeper because it deals with the whole person, the whole woman, aspects from A to Z, and it is life-changing. And my next book that I did a collaboration with Dr. Cheryl Wood, Women Inspiring Nations, Volume 2, is this book here. And I'm on actually page 15, and it's called, my chapter as a co-author is called How Did I Get Here? And what I talk about in this chapter, how many of you have made decisions out of desperation? I'm sure most of us have. And
yes, most of
And I tell you about a story which is interesting that I'm a co-author talking about relationships in Michelle's book, that when I wrote this story about how I was a single mom and I was desperate and my credit was bad and I made a move that I should not have done out of desperation, and it ended me in a place of homelessness. And so once this individual kicked us out, me and my daughter, out his home, I had nowhere to go. And so I had to pull on what I know, prayer, and then others. And my mom, after 20 years, can you imagine me being on my own and I have to go back to my mom's home? And I had to swallow my pride and say, ask her, could we come back home? Not just me, but now me with the child. So that story is interesting. It had me grow up. I'm telling you, it was life-changing for me as well. And now I'm in the co-author book with Michelle, talking about relationships and how they and your finances matter.
So this is wonderful. I mean, I've been hearing a lot of stories this weekend, and the one thing that most of us have in common is learning how to get up from a difficult situation, take it forward, learn from the bad, keep the good, don't look back, and move forward. So this is amazing inspiration with wonderful possibilities of growth.
Mm-hmm.
So now I would like to talk to Sheila. Sheila, I know that you are also a published author, and you have done a few collaborations, and you are also working on your own book. Hopefully we will be able to see it in 2021. But I just want to say that these ladies are really impacting and changing our community, and major things that they are doing just as life coaches, entrepreneurs, mothers, wives, friends, daughters, sisters. So keep those things in mind when you are reading this book, because one of these chapters might speak to you. So now we're going to talk to my guest, Sheila Gibson. And I just want to know why this book, and what made you want to write?
Well, as we stated before, as I was speaking with you, this is now my third collaboration. My first collaboration, it started where, again, there was a SOAs put out for women to collaborate in a project, and I had never done that before. Again, I am a grandmother I'm a mom of 3 daughters, adult daughters. I have 1 grandchild. I know I don't look at everybody
I
on
know
the
you don't
look
look
like a teenager. I
I
know.
was in shock.
Yes, and I'm grateful for the way I look in my youth, and this is what it talks about, how we supposed to take care of ourselves during all of our struggles. And that's another thing we could probably talk about later on, coming together on another collaboration just to talk about that. How do we keep ourselves youthful? But anyway, I got on this collaboration, and I don't know if you can see it, was my first thing called Break Into Brilliance. And it was a collaboration, again, with 15 women. And my story was overcoming while facing adversities. And we could all talk about adversities and things that we have gone through. And I started with, sharing in reference to my grandparents being sharecroppers, my mom, coming out of a big family. My grandfather and grandmother was very, they didn't get good education. They didn't have it back there in the 20s and things, it was unheard of for Black people to be talking about getting educated. But my grandfather knew that was something very important for his children as a way out to move forward. So as would happen, the boys worked and the girls were getting educated. So my mom was educated, went to college. She got married to a U.S. Military person, migrated into the District of Columbia area. We grew up here, and that was the gist of our story. And my mom was a nurse. She was a minister in church. She was she just participated in outreach of the community, uplifting. So she instilled those things into us. So that was really my inspiration. And also just giving homage to women of color, because No one knows our story until we share it.
Yeah,
And we have all come
absolutely.
from somewhere. And our adversity is being able to overcome it and not let it hold us back. And another piece of it was, even when I went through things, and again, as Bernadette speak of being a single parent, I was that person. Falling into debt, I was that person too. But trusting and believing in God was always the key. And one of the things, before we could even get to that, God, in this particular book, I talked about forgiveness is the key.
Yeah.
You don't forgive the person, you got to forgive yourself as well.
Yeah.
And then after that, you go through a process where you have to come from somewhere. So another little piece I shared in is called Out of the Ashes. Because why? We got to get grounded down, and we go down to dust, because that's what we come from. When we leave this, our earthly body goes back to the ground.
Yeah.
So God allows us to get built back up. So I just talk about all those different things, talking about relationship. So then from that, I met Dr. Takesha Green, who was our MC for the Breaking the Brilliance book. And we talked and we connected. So when she started this project in January, she asked me to be a part. And so I didn't know what we were going to speak with, but it connected to my spirit, because what she was talking about, women walking in excellence, women of virtue, Proverbs 31:10. I knew I wanted to be on that project. So out of that, I prayed, I asked God, Lord, what can I talk about? I already talked about overcoming while facing adversities. What can I talk about? You know what the Lord gave me? Destiny, no matter the cost. What a better thing. That's a thing just to shout about right there. Because when he gave it to me, tears came in my eyes. And I was like, Lord, what does this mean? So in this story, I'm talking about, this one is an eye snatcher, because it's talking about a situation that I wasn't even expecting. And God gave it to me. And sometimes we think God do things or let things happen, and it's always for our bad. But God gave me this gift to carry and nurture. And when he did, it changed my life. And
it's so interesting that you say that, because like I have always said, God gives you the tools, but you need to make it work.
Yes. Yes.
And that and that part that you were explaining of you have to forgive yourself before you can do anything else. I was talking about that this morning with my other interview, where I was saying that, or explaining to people, that you really have to forgive yourself before you can forgive somebody else.
Yeah.
And you have to take care of yourself before you take care of somebody else. And us women, we tend to be a little bit more critical of ourselves than anybody else.
Yeah.
And you know, sooner or later we need to learn that. But since we already have the gift, we have already gone through that experience, our job in life is to teach others how to avoid that situation and learn to love and heal internally before they can move forward and deal with their existing problems and experiences.
Yes.
So it goes really deep. So
Yes.
that's why I like this group, because it, you know, everybody speaks about their own experiences, what they have gone through, and it's actually helping other people that are coming in and reading the book, and they go, oh my God, I didn't even think about it that way. But we're giving them that information so they can better themselves.
Yes.
Yes. And I speak of that. Oh, I'm sorry, dear.
Oh, no, that's okay. So
Okay.
yeah, and that's the thing for me as well. But I think one of the things too, we women of color, we already knew how to do this. We've been taught to do it, whether we wanted to or not. And I think that's the thing. We've always been told we can't do it, we're not going to make it. But we realize in this 2020, because we're home, because of the pandemic, we all have been, God have allowed us to tap into something and birth something new in us that we already had in us. And we were built for this journey. You know, we're finding out, all of us, making it purposeful, making it on purpose, that we are doing these things now and not being afraid. You know, not being afraid. And also one of the things, helping our sisters give each other a hand up. And I think one of the things in the Black community, we were destroyed by that, because our family, things that had happened in our past or in our family's lineage where they were pulled away from one another. So we were disconnected in a lot of areas of our lives. And it is now only to now, all of us allowing, God is allowing us to come into our walking in what he called his purpose, our purpose in life. And whether it's to tell a story, birth your business, this is the time to embrace wherever God is taking you. And we're answering the call. All of us are saying yes. It's like all of us was given something. We woke up and everybody said, oh, a light bulb went off. And now all of us are just connecting with one another. Sisters, our sisters, you're our sisters. We're each other's keeper. And God is allowing us to do it. And I'm so happy about it. I'm very excited.
Yeah, wanted to add to the conversation. That's one of the, in my chapter in Silhouettes of Strategies from Authentic Coaches, I talk about the relationship, not just with your finances, but yourself. And a lot of people don't want to deal with that relationship with themselves. They always rely on others to define who they are. So I touch on the importance of having a relationship with yourself, because if you have a relationship with yourself, then you will have, and it's beautiful, you will have a beautiful relationship with others. And we can't depend on others to make us, to become who we are. So I believe this relationships chapter is really going to impact a lot of lives, going to see things from a different perspective. And when you look at yourself in a highly glorified way, not where you're bragging, you tend to be more giving and loving and compassionate toward others. So yeah,
and that is so true. Coming from a Latino family and upbringing, a lot of the things that you ladies are talking about are very similar to what I went through when I was growing up. And right now, brothers and sisters are so disconnected from each other, but we grew up together. You know, and in my book that I'm going to have out in 2021 is actually talking about that. So my autobiography is in this Silhouettes book. And it talks about why I had so many names growing up, but then that's going to be explained in my book in 2021. I decided this Silhouettes book really brought me to my breaking point where I said, well, I'm going to go ahead and break out of it, and I'm going to talk about it, and I am going to write this book that people keep telling me to write. So I am, and I have written letters to my sisters, to my kids, because believe it or not, I have 2 adult children, so I can sympathize with you guys, you know, having the children and all of that. Was married once, horrible situation, grew out of it. Again, prayer and family support helped a lot. And then my second marriage now is where I have my kids, and I have a 26 and a 24-year-old. So both graduated from college. So now I'm doing what I want to do and what I like to do. So that's why I'm doing this today, because I like helping women get out there and talk about their platforms and in a very comfortable and fun way. Because I think that is very important. It is very important for strong women to be out there encouraging and empowering other women that are much alike us, but they really don't know how to go about doing what they're supposed to do. So that's why this project was very important to me, because when it was explained to me, I was like, yes, I want to do it. So it was my breaking point. So which I'm sure that comes to my next question, that there was a breaking point for the 2 of you in which you decided, okay, I just want to write this and I just want to be able to help other people. So what was it like for you, Miss Bernadette, that breaking point?
Well, I'm a person that is an encourager, the person that's always in the background. And the Lord has been pushing me to come forward. And I was like, no, I like encouraging. I like being in the background. I like, you know, helping people, but you don't need to know it's me. And and so he kept pushing me and urging me, and I took that leap, and I took that leap of faith, and I was like, you know, I need to let people know my story, because because I'm always happy, and because everything always appeared to be going right in my life, people don't believe that I actually go through things. And so I have to show, it's my job to help individuals to see what my perspective is. And it's only by the grace of God that I have this mentality and this stance. But like I said, I've been put out homeless, I had no money, didn't know what to do. I'm a single parent. Was like, how did I get here? I was desperate. All I saw was, if I move in this person's house, I may possibly have some money and can live better. That's not true. But what happened was, I got, blindsided, and I had to find a way. And when I reached my bottom, I said, I need to let people know how to get up. And so with me sharing my story, I have a number of them where God has really been faithful in my life, and through prayer, that has helped me, and my relationship in Christ has helped me. I need to share and show people how to live a sustainable life with Christ. And I also have a book collaboration coming up. The Lord had pressed upon me to do a book collaboration on faith, and that is going to be here in February 2021. And we have to show the practical steps, because even though people tell me I make my situation look easy, it's not easy. But there are some steps that I can share with women to help them and empower them to get up and get out of a situation that they're in, and that we are here for one another. We in this together. I'm here to empower and motivate and inspire you to action, not just with words, but actions, and show you how to do this. There are practical, simple, practical steps that we can take to get up. And that's what got me to say, I need to share my story, because people think that I have it good, and I have always had it good. The Lord has been good to me, but I've had some struggles and some fiery tests that has brought me to my low. And
so you're a diamond in the rough. You know how diamonds get started?
I actually did a presentation on a diamond, and I'm thinking about putting that in a book as well. The process of a diamond. You start off as a black coal.
Oh, yeah.
Oh my goodness. And then the process, and you come out like that diamond that was on or Sheila's book, but the process in between is not good, always good.
Right.
Yes.
And that's why we have to share that story, because I consider myself a diamond in the rough, and I want to help other women to feel the same about themselves.
Yeah. So, and there's also a healing process that we all go through too. When we go through these difficult situations, most of us that are go-getters and entrepreneurs like you ladies, and writers, speakers, poets, and all of the above, there's that breaking point where we sit down and we go, okay, so what can I do to better myself? You forget about everybody else. And that's where there's a fine line between being confident or being too, what they say, cocky, or bragging too much about yourself, So that confidence comes within. So you either have to, there was something in the past that was really, really bothering you, and you had to forgive yourself so you could forgive others, or, love yourself before you could love others. And us women tend to help everybody else but ourselves. So we have to learn how to take care of ourselves before we take care of others, because if we are not healthy, we cannot help other people, right? If we are not in the right mindset, we cannot help other people either, and then that keeps pushing us and pushing us down. So Miss Sheila, what was the breaking point for you that made you decide that you wanted to do these collaborative books?
Well, the thing, well, it was multiple things that happened. One of the things was retiring from the federal government. Prior to that, I had several circumstances happen. One, like, really collided with each other, where I had a family member, a sibling got sick. I had a sister that passed, another sister that passed. And then in the midst of it all, I was going through some situations at my job. All of them collided together. And the stress of it all. And I think that's one of the things we don't talk to women about, how to handle stress. There was a light, there were warning signs coming, but I didn't see them because you get engaged with what's going on, trying to fix things, help someone. And that's what happened. But before that, I was always a person doing multiple things, working, going to school, helping my family members, raising my own children. It was always something going on. So the next thing was, as I was doing these things, I got promoted at work. So I got more responsibilities at work. It was just all these things, circumstances that happened. They collided together, and I did what you call a crash. I had a crash down mentally, meaning that my physical body, my mental body could not take anything else. Where one morning I woke up, nothing was working, pretty much. Not that I died or anything. My physical body said it can't touch the floor. It can't do anything. So through that process of regaining myself back, I had to take a time out and just take care of myself. Look at my health, look at all the things that did it, because it's just not one circumstances, it's years of things that happens that cause sometimes for us to crash. And in the midst of it all, God was speaking to me saying, I still have need of you. And I was like, well, how am I do this and this? But God, when he tell us stuff, we don't never know how he's going to bring us to it. And by trade, my profession is paralegal. So I always was writing stuff. I love to read books. I'm always in books. I'm always researching. So it came natural when the collaboration came along. I was like, I could do this because a lot of people say I talk a lot. I'm a people person. I communicate a lot. I'm a great communicator. I have an eye for organization. So all these things, I had it. I just needed to put it together. And that's where it came together. And not to say when I was trying to write something down, it didn't. It took a couple of days, a couple of weeks. I got frustrated. I was like, oh, maybe I'm not the person for this. But then when I started seeing what was coming out of it, I was like, okay, I'm liking this. Because what happens is we start allowing God to speak into us. So sometimes the Lord would give me a sentence. He would give me a word, and I just wrote them down. Sometimes I would talk through my phone and just put it in there. And so when I go back and listen, I knew where the place would need to be done. Not to know that I'm telling my own story, because sometimes we don't know what we're doing. We just know we got to put it on paper and see the product. And one of the things with being an entrepreneur, I've been able to engage in a lot of areas with people, because before they start calling us entrepreneurs, we were already doing these things. Well, we were cooking dinner for people, doing someone's hair, running to the grocery store for someone. We were already running a business. We just didn't know how to merchandise ourselves and market ourselves. We were already
how to brand yourself and
we
make
didn't know
money
nothing
out of
about
it.
it. Right. We know nothing. All we knew that this is something we were doing, but we did it out of a need to provide for our families. You know, a lot of times we did things out of a need or urgency, and it caused us to do things. And that's where I talk about, and we could talk about this another time, but estate planning came out of all of this as well. Family members passing away, people don't plan when you pass away.
Yeah.
Churches don't want to talk about it. You know, we just go through these things, and I found a need to talk to people, say, listen, have you thought about a power attorney? You need a will. People don't want to talk about it in the Black community because we weren't told to talk about it in our families. Yeah. We just thought if someone died, most of the time they don't have insurance. We run and get money together and we bury them. That is not how it's supposed to be.
Yeah.
Everything is always in planning. Just like Bernadette is in finance, we're supposed to be able to sit down and let someone help us map this through so we don't burden our family members and put them through so much stress.
Yeah, that is so true. And that happens in a lot of families.
Yeah.
And like you see that a lot in the Black communities. I see that a lot in the Latino communities, where people just work, and they pay their bills, they live paycheck by paycheck, and they're not planning ahead. They're just living the moment, which is kind of a dangerous way of doing things. You
Right.
know,
It's saying when you're not taught to do it.
yeah.
One of the things in my family, because my mom's family, they were poor. Nobody had anything. My mom learned how to save money. They had homes. They owned. My mom had a house. We had family. We lived in a home. When my father passed away, there was money set aside for us to live off of. And my friends and their families, they didn't know that. But guess what? I knew how to do things before I knew how to do things. So we were taught how to write a checkbook. All my brothers were taught to cook, clean. So everyone in my family is very much independent for themselves. But guess what? We need to learn to help other people.
Oh yeah,
and
absolutely.
That's the thing. Just like in our communities, we have during this 2020, going on through COVID, it has been devastating to families. I mean, when I say devastating, I cannot tell you how many times I'm on the phone talking to people because a family member has died. They can't get access to their bank account. They can't get access to these things, or they don't have insurance. And now we're faced with, I don't know if you all know this, but we're faced with another situation where if a person died at home or somewhere, the morgue is not even picking you up anymore. You have to go straight to a funeral home. So what does that mean if you have no insurance? Where's the person going to go?
Hard. Yeah, because I deal with patients all the time, and now with the COVID situation, people are just under a lot of stress because, like what we were talking about, they live paycheck by paycheck. They're not planning ahead, so they find themselves in this situation where both parents cannot go to work because one is isolated, the other one is in quarantine, or they're both in quarantine with the kids, and there's no income coming into the house. So here we have two perfect leaders that can help out in the community. Miss Bernadette with your financial, and Sheila with your encouragement and helping with that planning ahead strategy, where we can help people to think ahead and not just think about today and not plan for tomorrow. Because and people are, I really hope that by people watching this and listening to us talk on this video, that kind of like triggers things in their head, and they go, well, I think I need to start, planning ahead, because this has been a very difficult situation and I don't want to be here again. That should be the mentality of people. Most people will, most people won't, but at least we're trying to convey the message to people that that's what they need to do, even if it's just a little bit at a time. How we tell our kids, well, if you save 25 cents a week, by the end of the year, you have blah, 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 blah. Well, you need to do the same thing. If you go out to eat every day and go to a McDonald's, that's what, like $22, right, per meal. So take 10 out of the 22 and put it in the bank, or in a separate account, so you can call it your rainy day account.
Yes. And I know I had an idea, and when Bernadette was speaking, a light bulb went off again about something when she was talking about finances. And one of the things was, God told me something some weeks ago talking about a financial fast. And he gave me some things, and Bernadette may be the key that dropped this in her lap. And I mean, a financial fast don't mean you just go and get all this money. It's just basic things of what you can do. And pretty much like how sometimes we don't feel like we hungry. Well, that's how we have to do with our finances. We have to just take our finances and say, well, you know what? I'm just going to fast from Starbucks today. That means that's $3. We're going to fast from some cookies. That's another $1. So, and then you look and see for that one day what you spent. You say, wait a minute. Like now, we in COVID, I'm just trying to figure out, have people really been going out to eat? Because I know I cook all the time because I'm home anyway. But everybody should be in what you call a financial fast, because we shouldn't be spending out a lot of money. But then some people still, haven't gotten the idea of what it takes, because it takes a lot. And a lot of it's taking willpower, educating, Denying
Discipline.
yourself. Yep,
Discipline,
denying
yeah.
yourself. You know, going through the wilderness experience, meaning that I have to do this no matter what. If it means you, like you just said, saving a few dollars, but you'll be so happy once you realize that you had it and kept it.
Yeah.
For a rainy
Yeah.
I
day.
mean, if
It's
people sit down and they think about it, because I used to, you know, when I do babysitting classes, I tell the preteens that, if you save your money, by the end of the year, you have all of the money that you want, for your video games and whatever it is that you're working for,
Yeah.
it's the same thing with adults. We need
yes.
to, it's it like you said, Sheila and Bernadette, it's an education process, and people need to be willing to change too,
Yes.
which is a huge piece of the puzzle.
Yeah.
People need to be able to want to make that change, because you can take a horse to the river and have it drink water, but if he doesn't want to drink water, it's not going to drink it, right? So you pretty
Exactly.
much wasted your time walking to the river.
Exactly. And I have clients like that. And I had some clients that didn't like, the plan that I put them on financially. And then when all they had to do was follow the plan. They stick to the plan. And once they stuck to the plan, they start saying, oh my gosh, I see more money. We waste so much money. I have budget 101 workshops, that I show them the simple steps of budgeting. And once they see where their money is going and how they can save, then the light bulb comes on, and then the mindset shifts. And then one young lady, she was wanting to purchase a home. And I told her, oh, in 3 months, if you do XYZ, your credit score going to come up. She did what I advised her to do, and she was like, oh my gosh, my credit score coming up. She was so excited. And then there was a time initially when we first started our meeting together, she said she went to Burlington, and she liked buying those bags that you put on the back, the little backpacks. Said, I wanted to buy it. I just kept hearing your voice in my head. I said, did you buy it? She was like, no. I was like, yes. That means the mind shift. She was changing her mind. As much as she wanted that bag, and she thought she had extra money, she did not purchase it. And so I wanted her to be mad at me initially, because I knew at the end of our contract she was going to be happy. And so now I told her she's ready right now to purchase her house. I think we were 6 months in. She thought it was going to take a year or two. So she is ready. Her credit score is going up. She done paid off bills. I said, all that overtime you working, that money, go pay off your bills. And just showing different ways that you can take your money and apply it to your bill and save and pay off your debt. I'm telling you, if you saving and you have a lot of debt, something is wrong with that. People don't like to hear this. You can't have a savings and you have debt. I'm sorry. If you have 10,000 in the bank and your credit is 10 or less or whatever, pay that debt off. You can build that stash up again once you pay that debt off. That little nugget of things that I tell them, and once they see, they're like, no, I want to hold on to my money. It looks good in the bank. I said, but your credit is messed up. It would look better if you didn't have any debt. You can walk around and say, I am debt free. And then you can take those monthly payments that you was paying on those bills and build your $10,000 back up.
Not only that, their stress level goes down too, and their mental health improves, their physical
overall,
all of that improves. But it like I say in my chapter of health and fitness, fitness starts within, so it starts from the inside out. I can I was talking to a model last week. She wanted to know how she could start her business, because every time they call her for talking conferences or doing a runway or whatnot, I said, you know what, you need to change your mindset of wanting to make money all the time, because you are your brand and you are your business card. So how are people going to know what you can do if you don't show them before you do it? So she was like, well, what do you mean? What do you mean? I said, well, have you heard that some people say they give something for free and then they charge the next time, that's exactly what you need to do. You need to give a small portion of it free, kind of like reel them in. And then if they ask you back again, you're going to say, okay, so here is my contract and this is what I do and this is what you're going to get, but these are my fees. You know, she was not doing it that way. So again, it comes back to that planning, that organizing, wanting to know what is it that you're really worth? What do you want? You know, because that is very important. As an entrepreneurial, people need to know those things.
Exactly.
So Sheila, what do you think about it too? Talk to us.
I'm sorry, say that again. I couldn't hear you.
Talk to us. What do you think about it too? You know.
Well, I mean, I think what you said is right, but one of the things too, even when my girls were little, I'm gonna give you an example. I started speaking with them at the age of 7. I started talking to them. What do you want to be when you get older?
Yeah.
And my daughters was like, oh, I want to model. I want to be a firefighter. You know, kids, they talk about all these things. So I said, name one thing if you could. And my daughter said, well, I want to be a consultant. I said, she said, I want to talk to people about my veterinarian business. So I started putting images and things in their mind to give things to think about. So let me tell you what we did. And this will be good for your model person. I told them, let's get a book. And I bought this binder, a little teeny binder and some loose leaf paper. And they all wrote down something, what they wanted to do. And they kept building in a book. Every week they were putting things about what they wanted to do. And I can show you the book. It is hilarious because my oldest daughter, I noticed at the age of 6, she was an artist. She could draw. She just started drawing. I mean, like literally. And then she started sculpting. I was like, wow. So then my middle daughter, I noticed with her, she has an eye. She's good with math, very good with math. So I just continue to instill in them, you can do it, you can do it. So my oldest daughter has her own cleaning business. She works, but she runs her own cleaning business. My middle daughter, and this is how I got to my name of my company, it's called Sam's Consulting. I'm Sheila. My middle daughter is Aisha. My middle daughter is, my oldest daughter is Sheila. Sam's Consulting.
Oh,
and
wow.
Out of this, that same word, we put these letters down when they were little, and this is where I built it from. So my daughter has a cleaning business. It's called Sisters at Your Service. My middle daughter, they both went to college. My middle daughter has a degree in marketing and anchor. She's went to school to be a news anchor. Around that time, it was no jobs. So she went back and got her master's degree in HR resources. So she consults. She does consulting and she works for the federal government as well. And she helps brand her sister. So she helped her write her business plan. I showed them what to do and they took it from there. So we can do this. We can help people cultivate what they're thinking to put it on paper. It may not look like what you're thinking, but once you put it down, so like now my daughter has, she's posted in magazines. She's connected with real estate places. So when they need homes done and stuff, she does that on the side. It hasn't built to a business that she really can stop her other job, but it's doing great. She's doing really well with it. She also went to school for childhood development. So in special needs. So you see, I taught them to, if one thing don't work, find something else. You have something else to go fall back on. I went to school for nursing. I never worked in the nursing field because at the time, my government job continued to elevate me. I realized that, you know what? I don't know if I can do this with the nursing, but guess what? I can use it as a fallback. If something happens, I can work this job. I built myself around everything I learned how to do. I instilled it in and build it out. So even with paralegal, I can write wills. I can write power of attorneys. I can consult. I can talk about things. I can guide you. I can help you. I can give you ideas, you know, just things to think about. That's how it all starts. Something small.
Yes.
It is. And it, you know, we all have these things where we, I was telling somebody this morning that we want our children to do better than us. And that's basically what you ladies have done. You are my perfect 3 L's. And my perfect 3 L's are live, love, and laugh. and you have done all of that and more. So, you are a great inspiration to a lot of women and men and children that will be listening to this show. It has been, I have had an awesome time talking to you guys. I was completely not expecting this. Better than I had expected. I was a little apprehensive, but no, it went. It's like I'm talking to two girlfriends.
Yes, and that's how it is. That's when you know we all have a connection.
Yes, that's how it's supposed to be.
Yes,
It's organic and it runs smooth. That's how it's
Yes,
supposed to be.
Yes,
so
say it,
this is
Bernadette. You said it. That is
amazing, and Sheila and Bernadette, I can tell you we have so much in common, and you really have no idea, because I, you know, being Spanish, my first language, I am also an interpreter as well as a translator, and I'm a I can notarize.
Oh, I'm a notary too.
we all have something in common. You see? Great. That is excellent.
So yeah, that's
we need to get together for
we
real.
need to get together.
Yes. I think it's something brewing. I already
Yes,
feel
it
it.
does. I feel it, Bernadette. Do you?
Yes, yes, I do.
Wait a minute. So what is going on here?
It's a divine connection going
Yes,
on.
it
So
was.
that's why I have to say that. And my last question before I close, what did you advise people in regards to connections? Because this was a perfect segue into my last question. How do you build this strong connections out there in the community for your business and for other people that you might be helping? And either one of you can start.
So that's a good question. And I have experienced this on my own. Initially, early on as an entrepreneur, I am a federal government worker as well, but as an entrepreneur, I found myself connecting and going with any and everybody. And then it wasn't until my spirit, because I rely heavily on my spirit and discernment to tell me who I'm supposed to be with. I started saying, ooh, I don't belong here. And God started showing me different things and environments and people that didn't match up with who I am and my morals and values. And so as I grew and matured as an adult and a woman, I realized it's okay to be around someone, but I can't let everyone in my space. I have to have boundaries, and I can't connect with everyone. And so then as you grow, you start learning like this, what just happened here. When it's organic and it flows, you know that's the way you should move. If you feel a little, I don't know, you back out gracefully. And so that's what I've learned to do. I make sure I am not around people that tolerate me. If I feel like you're tolerating me or you belittling me, I bow out. I'll be like, hey, I'll see y'all the next time. I might stay, yep. Exactly. But the thing is, you have to know who you are. Yes. And so in knowing who you are, that relationship with self, you'll know when it's time to move, so you won't let someone take advantage of you. I have been used and abused. I've been the doormat. So I'm speaking from experience because I'm a very nice, gentle person, very calm, cool, and collective. But I had to learn boundaries, and that's not just boundaries with myself, with my child, with my friends, at work, everywhere. And so when you know who you are and you set boundaries, you also mature and learn that I just can't connect with everybody, and it's okay. It's okay. You can be around them, but that don't mean you have to be in that group and that elite.
Right.
That is
So you got to know where you belong, and I'm telling you, it's something that I feel deep down in my soul. When I get around someone, I'll stay for a little bit, and I'll be like, all right, see you later. And I might talk to them throughout the year, whatever, but I will not connect in a place where we're going to do something together, because I know it's not right and it's not of God. So you got to know who you are and be true to thyself. Be true.
It keeps coming back to that.
Yes.
It keeps coming back to that. So how about you, Sheila?
Well, for me, it's, I think because I was brought up in church in the beginning, So I knew the foundation, and even working with people in church is the worst place to be hurt in church, because you trust people and you think they have your best interest and you find out they don't. So I learned that early on. I'm a church administrator as well. So I've been in so many aspects of business, whether it's on a trustee board and different things. It teaches you how to maneuver with people.
Right.
Even working on your job, you know, we took a lot of leadership classes. So it helps because it builds your character. So if people, you know that they're being insulting to you, sometimes you don't know, sometimes we know we can't just always grab back at them. So we have to learn how to take it down. So I had to learn to take a lot of things in prayer, in tears. It hurt. It's hurtful. When you know that you've been good to people, you're helping them, and they don't treat you the same way. It's not reciprocated. Your heart is of love. You have a big heart. So I learned, even sometimes when you have done things for people and you say, oh, it's a charge, they don't even pay you, you walk away. I learned to even give that over to God and say, Lord, you know, it's okay. Because sometimes the Lord tell me, sometimes just be a blessing. So I learned so much. Most of everything that I have done has been a blessing. I haven't made any money off that. But guess what? In the midst of it all, when my need became great, that's when I seen God be greater in my life. I'm still in my home. I went through a terrible divorce a couple of years ago. I mean, almost everything my husband took, walked away with it. And I didn't think I could recover. But God brought it back to me to show me, because you was gracious, because you trusted me with everything, I'm going to bless you. I'm still sitting in my house. Y'all see I'm sitting in the house. I'm still in my house.
Hallelujah.
I'm on a fixed income. So won't he do it? Won't he do it?
Yes, he will.
He will meet your need. But the whole thing is our trust. We have to build the trust up. Even though someone hurt you, we can't look at everybody that's going to do that. We have to give them a chance and then let God prove them to you. And if God, and because you have discernment, just like Bernadette said, God will say, you know what? Bless them and move on. Sometimes he say, let it go. Don't even ask them about the money. Don't say anything. If they didn't call you back, it's all right.
Yep.
And I learned, so even with people don't call, I put out something in reference to estate planning. I did it in front of a whole church of 100 people, the church I belong to. I can tell you how many people responded. One. It was okay. But that was my first letdown in church, to say, you know what? It's okay. God will give you a platform when the time comes. Don't even worry about it. But in the meantime, I need you to be busy working. Because you don't know the other people that I'm sending. You can't see.
Right.
Yeah.
So I know I need you, Sheila. We need to talk, and it's probably a reason why I haven't made this move, but I need to set up my wheel and talk to you. And I also want to talk to your daughter to see if she can help my daughter. They need someone, I think, to clean their shop.
Yes.
So, is in Fort Washington, but we'll talk after.
Yes, definitely. And
wonderful.
Yes, and that's what I said. You know, even with you, Millie, you know, when
Oh
you have people and you need help, you know, you call me, run it by me. You know, like sometimes even if the person says no, it's just giving them information. Just to give them a thought. You know.
Yes. If they need a budget, anything, just call me. Whatever you need, I'm here for you.
You know,
Okay, thank you.
Yes.
And I want to leave you ladies by saying, through Christ, all things are possible.
Yes.
Thank you, everybody, for joining us today. This wonderful, lovely day. I'm loving it. I'm loving today because the weather is fantastic. So thank you for watching Milagros Richard Step into Change. Love you much.
Love you. Bye.
Thank you. Bye-bye.